day I got to the village, I seen her, and I was sitting down. I was working myself up to go get a photo, and then a whole group of people went over and asked for a photo. And I was like, "Oh man, I'm not going to do it now. She's eating her lunch. I'm not going to annoy her."
All right. Welcome to Is That a Girl podcast. Number 2, 3. It's number 2 with an athlete, but number 3. Yeah, we've got BMX champion on today, Natalya Diehm. So I'm just going to rattle off a few things that I've found. So you were 2019 Oceania champion. You came first. 2019, 2020, 2021 national champion. You came first 3 years in a row. You came 6th in the world champs in 2019. And this year you recently just returned from the Olympics where you came 5th, but you did come 5th with a torn ACL. So that's pretty bloody fantastic. Congrats, by the way. So not many people can say they're an Olympian. So yeah, anyways, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you here, and we're looking forward to asking you about your career as a BMX freestyler.
It's definitely been a journey, that's for sure.
Yeah. So just how did it all begin for you? Were you little and you thought, I'm going to jump on a bike, and that's where it started?
I was young. I was 8 years old. I had no idea what a skate park or anything was. And I wanted to ride my bike to school because I was only probably about a 10-minute ride. And the bike that I had at the time didn't have brakes. So mum and dad were like, no, you're not riding to school. So I was quite upset. And then for a few weeks, I was upset, and I would fight with them every morning. Please let me ride to school. And then they picked me up early. I think it was cross country day. So I was stoked about that because no one likes to do cross country. I don't anyway.
No one likes running.
Took me home, and they had brought me a new bike, and I was like, oh, this is so sick. And they're like, yeah, you want to go ride it? And I was like, yeah. And well, we don't know where. How about we just go to the skate park? And I was like, yeah, let's go to the skate park. I had no idea what it was, and then just fell in love with it. So when I was riding to school with my friends, after school we'd go straight to the skate park, and then all day on the weekends we would just be there every weekend. So just turned the place where everyone went and where you had fun with your friends. And I can't believe it's got me this far.
Yeah.
Did you have a group of girls that you did that with, or?
No, a group of boys. My sister did do it, but she's 4 years older than me. So pretty much once she graduated, that was it for her. She got a job, she got a boyfriend, you know how life goes. So yeah, she did it for a couple of years.
Was she pretty handy?
She was pretty good. Yeah, I think if she was to jump back on now, she could probably do a few basic things, but probably scared.
Yeah.
Sure. Basic things like what? What's basic?
I guess going up and down the ramps is probably basic.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she could still do it, but she'd probably have a high fear factor now.
Yeah, definitely. So
it's been a while since she's been on it.
Pardon?
Has it been a while since she's ridden a bike?
Oh yeah, probably last time she was 17 and she's now 28.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so quite a long time. Yeah.
Is it something that you feel that I know there's that whole term, it's just getting back on a bike, it's just like riding a bike, but do you feel like if you were away from the sport for a little bit, you could go back to it and you would be at a decent level, or do you think you lose it quite quickly?
I think with the harder tricks, you would lose just because there's a lot of fear there and you haven't practiced it. You might make a mistake and you would fall. But as for riding the bike and doing stuff you've done for years, it's all muscle memory. So you might, go back to the bike after a year and feel a bit sketchy on it, not very good, but you would still be able to do the tricks because it just comes down to muscle memory, I think. So yeah, it's one of those things you have to practice if you're doing the higher level tricks like the men do. They do 1080 spins, which is 3 rotations. And if you're off the bike for quite some time, you're not going to probably do that.
Yeah, definitely. Is that more would you say a confidence thing as well? Do you think if you're not on the bike? Yeah, absolutely. I've even thought about it because I'm going to have to obviously go through a lot of rehab and stuff with my knee. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to have to probably relearn a lot of things, or I'm going to be scared because of my knee, or I'm scared to do this, but that's all part of the sport. And
I feel like most of it is the mental game rather than physically. So if you have a strong mental game, you'll be able to push through it and try new things.
Yeah. Just on that, I wanted to touch on how many ACLs have you done now? 5?
5, and to the same knee as well. So arthritis is just around the corner for me.
100%.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's full on. Like, you're young, and I've done my ACL, and I know how hard that is to get back to like running, let alone something like landing on a bike from a height. Like, the impact on your legs would be incredible.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a hard one to come back this time, because I do not want to go through it again. And so my original plan, because I ruptured it again 2 weeks before flying out for Tokyo.
Right.
So I was like devastated, and I was like, no, there's no time to be devastated. Like, you got to stay focused. You got to get there. And so when I was riding, we had 4 days practice while we were over there, and I was like, oh, this feels great. Like, I have a knee brace on, it's strapped, like it feels really good. I can probably like ride without an ACL and then get it fixed so I'm done with my career. And then in the contest, bam, it blew out, and I was like, well, I guess I can't ride with it without an ACL. I'm gonna have to get it fixed.
How'd you do it this time? Was there a specific like trick that you did or something?
Yeah, I did a flare, which is a backflip 180 and landing back into the ramp. And it was like it was a little fall too. Like, I landed it and I was going to loop out and probably like fall onto my back. So I threw my bike away, landed on my feet, and just like rolled. And within that roll, I was like, holy, like, I think I've just ruptured my ACL again, because it wasn't very painful either. And I was like, oh man, like, I think I've heard it. And then got it checked the next day, and they're like, yeah, you've ruptured it. And I was like, oh man, again.
God, you know, you've done it enough times when you do that roll and you're like, I think I just ruptured my ACL.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't have that reaction probably.
Yeah, when I told my coach, like, straight away, I was like, I think I've hurt my knee. He's like, well, you seem all right. And I was like, yeah, but I think it's hurting. Like, I'm pretty sure it's sore. And then I left it a few hours, and I called him back up, and I was like, nah, I know this kind of pain. I've ruptured my ACL. We better get it checked.
You've done it 5 times. When was the first time? Like, how long ago was the first one?
2017, because I'm pretty sure I did 3 within 3 years, and I was 20, so like, yeah.
So it was just like
Crazy.
came back from injury and then redid it like straight away.
Yeah, like, I would do the rehab, and then my like physio or whatever, like, yep, you're good to go, like, you're strong. And it would be like 1 or 2 rides in, and it would blow out, and I'm like, well, I've just had the worst luck.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's just a bit bad luck, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a new surgeon this time, and he's confident, and he's like, you've just had bad luck. Like, I'm super confident when I fix this one, like, it's going to be good, just try and beat this mentally. And I was like, I'm going to try my hardest.
I just honestly, like, overcoming that, it's not something small. Like, people, if you haven't had an ACL tear, you don't really understand what you go through when you get that fixed. And to come back and then straight away do it again, and then come back again and straight away do it again through, like, what I don't know much about BMX, but I would say that would be your prime age. Am I? Yeah. So you've missed so many opportunities, I guess, to further develop yourself as an athlete because of this injury.
100%. Like, some of the top riders, like Hannah Roberts and Charlotte Worthington, who just won gold. Like, I was doing double tail whips and stuff when I was 15, 16. And that was way ahead of the game for women. And then, like, with having so much time off the bike with my knee, everyone's just caught up and progressed heaps. And it's like, I can't help but think back and go, man, what would have happened if my knee never like went?
Yeah, so much to think about.
Man, they're such a bummer, aren't they?
Yeah, but that's the sport, and that's everything in life. Like, stuff happens, and you just have to move forward.
Just
going back to your younger years, I had a bit of a look, and you grew up at Boyne Island. Is that off Gladstone, is it?
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes out of Gladstone onto the coast there, right by the beach.
And there's a pretty small population there, right?
Yeah, so I think Gladstone, including Boyne Island and other surrounding towns, is like 50,000, maybe a bit more now, but back then it was like 50,000 people.
Yeah. So did you have to do quite a lot of travel, like with competitions and stuff when you were younger?
Yeah, absolutely. So even if I was living in Gladstone, which I live in the Gold Coast now, but we don't have any major contests here in Australia. So everything for freestyle BMX is overseas. And so it makes it even harder for up and coming riders because you have to self-fund everything. And it's just obviously super expensive, especially now with quarantine payments. So yeah.
What's the go with that? I would have thought we would have had enough people to run our own competitions here.
No, we have some of the best riders in the world. Obviously, in the men's, we just got gold. If Brandon Lupos didn't do his ACL, he probably would have taken silver or gold or as well. And then some of the boys we have are amazing, but I don't know. I don't know why we can't get a contest here. Yeah, we're hoping to now, obviously, because it's freestyle has come out to the world from the Olympics, and we've got a gold medalist, and hopefully we can attract some contests here and people to come here. But now with COVID, no one's going to want to come with restrictions.
You'd think the coverage that you guys would have got with the Olympics would help a lot towards that, because obviously there's the X Games and everything, but that's sort of probably a very specific audience. Like you have to sort of be into it already to go out and watch it, whereas the Olympics so mainstream.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had the Nitro World Games, which is like the Nitro Circus, but like a different contest format. That was coming to Brisbane in October. But I think a lot of the riders now are pulling out because they don't want to have to do the 2-week quarantine. So that was going to be the start of our contest here in Australia, and I'm not sure if it's going to happen yet.
That Matt White guy rides with Nitro Circus, doesn't he? Is it Matt White? Is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah, he was on The Bachelor.
Yeah, I was going to say, bit of a reality star.
Yeah.
That's not how I know him at all, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hodgie loves all his little cute TV shows.
TV.
Yeah,
he loves
can't get enough.
Yeah. All right. So just on that, you just said, obviously, it's not very big in Australia. Is there anything out there for kids? Like you growing up, you said you obviously went to the skate park all the time and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, you play netball, you play footy, you go down to your local club and you sign up. How do kids go about signing up to ride their bike, like professionally, I guess, at your level?
Well, this is like what I'm going through now, because I'm trying to talk with Oz Cycling about becoming a coach while I have this time off the bike.
Yeah, nice.
And like I said, it's going to be hard to monitorize who's riding and who's progressing because we don't have a club, and that's never been the way freestyle goes. It's you go to the skate park and that's it. If you ride, you have fun, you progress, that's what you do. You post it on social media, you might get noticed. So with it being so professional, being in the Olympics now, we have to try and find a way that, do we start up a club and people sign up and we all meet at the skate park, or can we get it involved in schools and make it a school sport and go to their local skate park? So I don't know how it's going to work or how we're going to monetize that, but forever it's just been going to the skate park, and if you have the money, you would sign up to a contest, and if you do well, you'll be seen. So
it's so crazy to me that we're so far behind. Probably going to show my age a little bit here, but I remember when I was a teenager, sort of was when Tony Hawk and all that sort of stuff started coming out. And so skate parks became quite a big thing. But then even like Dave Mirra, the bike game came out, and everyone was like very much like as into BMX as they were into skateboarding, sort of around that 2000, early 2000s. To think that it's like 2021 and it's been consistently big through all of those years, to think that we still sort of don't have competitions and clubs and stuff that people can join is crazy to me.
Yeah, I think Australia is pretty far behind in that aspect. Like just the way you look at Team USA or something, and they'll have a whole team on deck just for one contest, and it won't even be a major one, and they've got a physio, they've got a psych, they've got a masseuse, they've got like everything there, their coaches, and we just have a coach come along with us.
Is it the same sort of deal with skateboarding? Like, we don't have many competitions in Australia and stuff?
I think we have a few more skateboarding contests, like Bolarama.
Bondi and stuff,
and stuff. So skateboarding is bigger, and even for younger kids, like there's more women in skateboarding than BMX.
Yeah, wow.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we did see like the skateboarding, there was those young girls. So like obviously
yeah, and they took home gold and silver, didn't they?
crazy. Yeah.
Insane.
So young. Yeah. So I guess with that, like 2021, it's in the Olympics. 2024, you've done your knee now, you have to get it fixed. Are you aiming to go to the next one?
It is a dream to go.
Yeah.
And with having so much time to think in quarantine, I've obviously overthought everything and it was stressing me out. So I was like, I can't help what's happening to my knee. It's out of my control. It needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Just take it one day at a time. And then once rehab's done or once qualification starts again for the Olympics, which is only a year and a half, bit over a year and a half away now, we'll see how we go. I'm not ruling it out because obviously I would freaking love to go again, but yeah, we'll see how tough this one's going to be.
What's the qualification process? Like you said, it's going to start in about 18 months, so it's pretty lengthy, is it?
So because the next one's only 3 years away, qualifications, I think it starts a year, maybe a bit over a year before the Olympics. So that's why qualifications start not too far away. Like this year and a half is just going to fly by. And then you will go to World Cup stops and accumulate points. So the more riders you have for your country, the more points you'll obviously get because they've entered.
Right.
And so for this one, because there was only 9 competitors in the event, it was the top nation who got the most points got to take 2 riders, which was Team USA. And the host nation obviously gets an automatic spot.
Yeah.
So there was only now seven spots left.
Right. So I was wondering why you were the only girl that was sent over there, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so there's only 1 spot for the rest of the countries, and the top 5 highest nations with points got an automatic spot, and then the next 2 would were the next highest placing in a world championships, and so it's like a wild card, and that's what I had to get because being one rider, you can't get as many points as the rest of the countries.
Yeah, fair, far out.
Yeah. So it was pretty tough. Like I remember dropping in, and I knew that Spain and France had fallen off in their runs, and I was just like, okay, just stay on the bike. If you stay on the bike, you'll get your spot, and you'll be happy as. So thank God that worked out for me. I don't know what
it almost adds to the pressure, doesn't it? Like you know that these guys haven't done very well. So instead of if they had have done really well, you've got that extra pressure of like, oh shit, like now I really have to do it. But then also there's that pressure, even if they don't do well, you're sort of like, oh, well, like I still have to do
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And in my first run too, I had fallen off. So you get 2 1-minute runs in a contest. And so my first one was scratched out because I fell, and I was like, man, 1 minute, make it worth your while. You've worked so hard your whole life for it.
Well, 1 minute doesn't leave you much time for mistakes and stuff, does it?
No, it doesn't. No.
Crazy. I reckon in 2024 there'll be more placings though. Like if there's only 9 girls in a competition now, I would say there'd have to be more by the next one.
Yeah, so I've heard rumors there'll be 12, which is still not a lot.
No, not really.
Usually in a contest, like our finals is 12 people. So still not a lot of people, but at least it's better than 9, might make it a bit easier.
Yeah.
How many did the men have?
The men had 9 as well. But then you look at skateboarding. Yeah, you look at skateboarding that was new, and they had like 24 riders. So they had a semi-finals and a finals, whereas we just had a straight final because there was only 9 competitors.
That's so bizarre because you could fill those positions. It's not like there's not enough people to do it. Like there's plenty of people.
Absolutely. 100%. But I was speaking about it with Logan the other day, and for the men, there wasn't that many countries that missed out, but there was other riders that missed out, but from the same country, like USA have like 5 great riders, but you can only take 2 of them. And like Australia, we have, probably 5 great riders as well, but we could only take 1. So the countries we had sorted, but the actual riders, there's a lot of other good riders that miss out. So
that's strange because that wouldn't work like that with like athletics and stuff, would it?
Yeah, I don't really know.
I think it's different. I think they get like a qualifying time, and then I think it's how many per country over that qualifying time or something like that.
Yeah.
Different sport.
Interesting. Weird.
Yeah.
I have a question with men's and women. So with us, obviously, we're focusing on female athletes within Australia, and a big thing for us is the pay gap. Is there a noticeable difference between men's and women's BMX in Australia, or is it just a pretty much an even playing field because there's not really that much out there?
I think in Australia it might be the same. Yeah. So when I get paid from Oz Cycling, it's based off your scoring of where you placed in a world championships, or in this case now the Olympics, because it was the pinnacle contest of the year. And so since I placed fifth, there's like rankings of what fifth gets paid, what's first get paid, and like different stages. So I'm assuming that's quite even between the men and the women. But in a contest, there's still a major gap in prize money for men and women, which we've tried to fight for. And we've said, even half of, we don't even get even half of what the men get. It's like, It's like a quarter. Like, so we're like, we'll compromise even if we get half. Even the X Games, like they don't even have a women's division because they've never thought that we were worth televising. So we're still trying to fight for that. And I think now being in the Olympics, they're like, oh man, if the Olympics can have the women's, X Games can. So hopefully we can have an event, but there's still a long way to come to be equal, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
So how does it work with you with Oz Cycle? So do they essentially contract you as a full-time athlete to train? Is that how it works?
They don't contract you as a full-time athlete. So like I said, if you rank within where they want you to, you'll get paid a certain amount of money every 6 months. And then and then obviously if you have other financial sponsors, that'll be your help with your income and travel and all that. Whereas I just have Oz Cycling, and it definitely would have been worth me having a job to try and help pick up some of the slack, but it just would have been in the way of training. So it's been quite tough. And I budget a lot, but I got through it.
I'm shocked that you're an Olympian, right? Like not many people can say that. You're an Olympian. We have plenty of athletes out there that, we've heard on the news this year that have self-funded their training, their travel. Like, how do we not have enough money to help, people like you not have to budget, not have to worry that, you have to go to training and you have to do all that, but you also need to somehow eat during the week. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm shocked.
So it's definitely been hard. Like when it first got announced that it was going to be in the Olympics, obviously I had contact with Oz Cycling. We were a bit back and forth, and they were like, we want you to do this, this, and this, and go here, because you need to get this place, you need to get this points. And I was like, yeah, like I'm keen and I totally believe I can do this, but I'm going to need some help. And they're like, well, we can't help you. And so everything
seemed to make sense, because you would think that it would be in their best interest to do that. It's almost like an investment.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how it works. Obviously there is some sort of thing that they can't help me, but they want to. I guess it's all in the contracts and the rules. But yeah, so everything was self-funded, and it was super hard trying to qualify because I was working full time in a bar to work at the night time to train in the daytime to save the money to get away to qualify. And I made it work and I qualified, and then I started getting payments from Oz Cycling because I placed 6th at the World Championships. But again, like if everyone knows, if you're getting paid 6 monthly, it's hard.
Nightmare. I hate 2 weekly.
Honestly,
worst.
With COVID, like that was the best thing for me, because then we didn't travel, which means I could save that money. Like if I had to live and travel with that money, there's no way I would have been able to do it.
Crazy. So you said before, obviously you get paid 6 monthly through them, but if you had sponsorships, then that would help your income. Have you had anyone contact you like after the games?
No.
Really?
Yeah, no, I haven't. I think probably with my knee injury, it might have scared some people away. I'm not sure. I definitely had my fingers crossed that something was going to come my way after this, just to make it a bit easier on me. And it hasn't, and I guess that's fine. And I'll take the route of being a coach and giving back to the kids and get them stoked. So if I can make money from doing something that I love as well, then, you know, that's even better.
Yeah, well, I guess that's probably the only way you have to think about it at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh, I can't believe that. Like, surely people, and I know social media is a massive thing at the moment, like your followers on Instagram would have boosted by thousands, I'm guessing.
Yeah, a few thousand. I think maybe 3 or 4.
Like, but that's a lot. That's a lot for, I would say, a female athlete that, you know,
Yeah.
you don't get a lot of like televised events. So people don't see you, but then people saw you on the Olympics and that boosted your numbers. So I don't see how sponsors don't look at that and go, oh, that's a perfect investment.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. I guess there's other girls out there that have like 50,000 followers. I think I'm pretty sure I'm the only female BMX rider under 20,000. So, and like everyone knows, followers is a massive thing these days. And if you don't have them, you're not going to get far, I guess.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's time to boost those followers somehow. Nah, I've been watching your stories. Your stories have been entertaining. The one the other day with the Ash Barty thing. Oh, I was losing it.
Did she ever get back to you about that?
No, she didn't.
No.
I posted so many stories of trying to get a hold of her and nothing. She's too busy, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I could imagine her bloody DMs would be blowing up all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I just feel like every time I post one, it just bumps to the top. So I'm just waiting.
Keep going.
Nothing. Yeah. I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Persistence is the key, as they say.
Well, the first day I got to the village, I seen her and I was sitting down, I was working myself up to go get a photo, and then a whole group of people went over and asked for a photo. And I was like, oh man, I'm not going to do it now. She's eating her lunch. I'm not going to annoy her. And then did not see her again once. And I am kicking myself that I didn't just go up and get that photo.
What was it like in the Olympic Village? Pretty crazy, seeing a bunch of people. Like you all mingled together? Yeah,
we all pretty mingled pretty well. And then, you know, the most common question every time you're seeing someone was, so what sport do you do? Like that was just the
right.
I'm like, what sport do you do? When do you compete? So that was always the icebreaker. But like when I first got there, I was walking around and I was just like, oh my God, like look at all these athletes. Like, oh my God, there's Simone Biles over there, or, you know, there's Ash Barty. And it's like, I got to bed that night and I texted mum and I was like, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. I'm not an athlete. I need to come home.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Especially with having so many in one sort of area, like that wouldn't like obviously it probably doesn't only happens every 4 years when you go to the Olympics, to have so many sport personalities just sort of like living in a pretty tight-knit community.
Yeah, it's super crazy. And like going to the dining hall and seeing like so many other countries, so many different people, you're trying to guess what sport they can do. Like, yeah, it's a pretty wild feeling, and it's such an awesome experience. I wish everyone got to experience it because it's something really, really cool.
Yeah.
How were those cardboard beds? Were they good? Like I know everyone was like, oh, they're not too bad, but
like the cardboard bed frame itself was fine. Like it was pretty sturdy. Like I got on it and I kind of jumped and moved around and it was pretty good. But the foam mattress was the killer. Like it was just like that hard foam that almost wasn't even like foam. Like it was just so hard and like, yeah, it was terrible. I did not get one good night's sleep. And like if you laid on your side, your shoulder would like start to ache because it was just like up against like the ground or something. It was just, yeah, it was just hard.
That makes it so much worse when it's like you can have like pretty much any conditions, but if you can't sleep properly, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, and like on the cardboard frame, it said sleep better for a better performance or something, and I was just like, this is not giving me a better performance at all.
What a bunch of bullshit that is.
Yeah. I could only imagine what the Japanese athletes had in their rooms. They wouldn't have been those mattresses, surely.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe it was a little ploy.
Yeah, give everyone else terrible mattresses, you get a comfy bed.
Yeah.
Who'd you room with?
So it was like little apartment rooms.
Oh, right.
And so I had my bedroom to myself, which was really cool because I'm the only freestyle athlete.
Right.
But there was another 3 rooms. So there was 2 BMX races, 2 judo girls, I think, and then 2 beach volleyballers. I was roomed with the beach volleyballers that came second.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Oh, yeah, I watched that game. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was a really good game. They were sick. They're really nice too. So it was cool. I really got along with those.
What an experience to really be able to get to know people that, like, in ordinary life, isn't like you probably would never come across.
Yeah, absolutely. And like just talking to them as normal people and being friends. And then like I never really watched beach volleyball or anything either. And then I was like, as soon as I met them, I was like watching them there every game. I was like, this is sick. This is so cool. And then they got second. And I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it interesting to see how like different athletes like the beach volleyball and judo and stuff prepare before their events?
Well, the judo girls were really like kept to themselves. Like I didn't really see them. They kind of just stayed in their rooms, which was weird. And then like we'd be in the same elevator, and because I rarely seen them, I didn't notice who they were. And so we got off the elevator and I like came into the room and they followed me in, and I was like, oh, they're my roommates. I didn't even notice.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But the beach volleyballers, I'm pretty sure they like their games were really spread out. So they'd do one game and then have like 2 days off. But they would still go to practice and training once a day. So yeah. And then some of their games were like at 9 p.m. at night. So I'd be in bed and they're heading out the door, ready to go play a game.
All right. How from the start of your competition to the end of it, how many days was that for you?
4 days practice and 2 days of the event. So what, 6 days? Right. Yeah.
And then you had to pretty much leave the next day once you were done.
Yeah. The next day, that's it. So, everyone got their medals, woohoo. And then actually that afternoon, we all got a briefing that we weren't allowed to they didn't want us to leave our building because there was parties going on down on the grassed area. So we got a briefing not to celebrate too much and probably best not to leave the building. so yeah, we did our
with the swimmers.
Pardon?
Did you come back with the swimmers? I heard they got a bit rowdy on the way home.
The swimmers, I did come home with them, but I didn't get a medal, so I wasn't in business class. So.
Oh, right.
Is that the rule? Is that the rule?
No. Yeah, if you get a medal, you get upgraded. So.
Really?
I tried for an upgrade because of my knee.
So you get some sort of sympathy vote or something. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I tried. But yeah, so everyone, if you get a medal, just let everyone know you get up the front of the plane. I was really hoping to get up there. I didn't quite make it.
But if you wanted any motivation, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's it. So if you wanted to get business on the way over, you had to pay for it. And I was like, I'm not going to pay for it. Maybe on the way back. And then my coach was like, well, you can't do that. You only get up there if you get a medal. And I was like, okay, well, I'll try to get a medal. Yeah. I'll try to get a medal.
Do you honestly, from your point of view, think if your knee wasn't bad and you hadn't done your ACL 2 weeks prior, you would have medaled?
Yeah, I really, really believe it. And it sucks to think about it because I truly believe that if I didn't, even in my first run, if that didn't happen, I still had more to give. And I think it would have kept me in that podium position. And then what I had planned for the second run would have even topped that some more. But I wasn't able to do it, which kills me because in 3 years' time, I might not be up to that standard to be in podium position anymore. So it kind of is like, you just missed your chance. So yeah.
That's the thing about competitive sport, isn't it? It's sort of like, shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But I mean, at least one thing you got out of it that no one can really take away is the fact that you got to be the first person to do it. Like no one else will be able to ever say that. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think everything happens for a reason. And once time goes on and you're accepting of it, and then you realize like, that happened for the better for this to work out or for this to happen. So yeah.
And like you said, you want to obviously getting into coaching and stuff. Had you not had this opportunity, like the opportunity to go into doing the coaching and stuff, might not be there. So
yeah, absolutely. And like I remember saying to my mum and stuff before going, like, yes, riding my bike and competing is what I've always wanted to do, and what I'm striving to do is, you know, obviously get to that podium, but I've also wanted to inspire the next generation and inspire kids. And I think that's helped me now. So like I've had a few opportunities. So when I get out of here, I maybe like do some guest speaking at schools. And I think maybe if that didn't happen with my knee, you know, I wouldn't have the time to do that, or I wouldn't have the story to tell to inspire the kids. So that's what I'm seeing. I was like, everything happens for a reason. Maybe that's why. But
I mean, there's plenty of silver lining to come out of it. That's for sure. Yeah. As sucky as it is that it went down the way that it did, like there's going to be like a lot of doors will open from the experience for sure.
Yeah, hopefully. And like, I just think, damn, I did this with one leg pretty much, and I got 5th. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for 5th place.
I mean, wish I was fifth best at something in the world. I'd be stoked.
I agree with you. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm done asking questions that annoy you. Hodgie, you got anything?
No, I think that's pretty much covered everything. Did you want to give a quick plug to what you want to do with coaching and stuff? Try and get it out there.
Oh, I'm still trying to work it out now. Hopefully do some BMX camps throughout this year. And then I tried to reach out on Instagram to see how many girls in Australia are willing to do it. And I got more messages than I was anticipating. So I'm trying to keep up with all of them on my main account, which is super hard. So maybe opening up another account, or I don't know how to get the word out there at the moment, because we don't know how it's going to work and monetize it. Like I said, with every other sport, there's clubs, whereas freestyle, there is no club. So we're just still trying to work on it.
Yeah.
Probably another feather in the cap for you to be the first at another thing.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, fingers crossed in future Olympics like 2028 and 2032 in Brisbane that I'll still be there, but coaching the next girls that came through. So that's the dream.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the
Very
dream.
good.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on and giving us your time and taking us. I didn't know a lot about how the process worked and everything. So now we do. So very appreciative.
Cool. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks. See you later.
Perfect. No worries. See you later.
All right.
Bye.
See you. Bye. Cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy with sports like that aren't, you know, widespread like your footy and your netball and all that, just to understand what these athletes do go through to get to where they are.
Just all that stuff with Oz Cycling, it doesn't. I mean, I'm sure they're a big corporation that whatever, and they have people that obviously, you know, look after that stuff. But it's just so it doesn't make sense to me that you're going to get something out of it. So it's not like they're going to invest all this money and get no return. Like,
well, surely they would have sponsors like, you know, on the side that they can link her up with. Do you know what I mean? Like they can't just go, oh, we can't help with you, and that's it. Like they would know people and they would know companies that would want to help athletes, Olympians. She's an Olympian. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah. I don't even like people like companies like Vans or like bike companies and stuff. Like how's there no sponsor? Like you're the 5th best person in the whole world at what you're doing. How is there no sponsorship around it?
Like I guess all the money goes to America. It'd be huge there. The money in that there would be massive.
I mean, the thing that probably doesn't help is the fact that there's no competitions here, which blows my freaking mind.
Which is also a possibility for these companies like Vans. Start one in Australia. Imagine.
Yeah, run competitions. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, there's obviously a market out there because she said she put that thing out on her Instagram and she's been flooded with people that said that they're interested. So
yeah, 100%.
Fuck people. It's crazy.
Yeah, don't know.
But, well, who knows?
Oh, well, we'll see.
Cool. It's good.
Good
really
chatting.
Nice
yeah, lovely.
really nice chick. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, another one in the bag.
Yep. We'll get this out. What do you reckon? Tonight? Thursday?
Yeah, probably tonight.
Yeah, same time. Awesome. All right,
Okay.
been good chatting. I will see you
Fantastic.
soon.
Until next time.